What's up, guys? I'm Mike. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, think about subscribing to increase your wealth, increase your success, and put you on the road to financial freedom. Today we're going to be talking about why your stock picks may not have worked out so well. So you think you're going to day trade, you're going to start picking your own stocks. Unless studies have shown, unless you're Warren Buffett, you're probably going to have a bad time. And I'm going to show you what to do instead. Because lots of folks want to pick their own stocks. And there's a lot of reasons for it. They don't want to pay the management fees. They want to try to beat the market. And they think that they have it to pick their own stocks instead of maybe going with some sort of fund or ETF or something like that. But let's think about this for a minute. What do you all out there do for a living? What do most folks do for a living? You might be a plumber, you may be a doctor or a janitor or whatever. It really doesn't matter, because it comes down to this. How much research can you possibly do on any one stock to really get an idea about what it is that you're investing in? You can look at the PE ratios, you can look at the moving averages, the EPS, the price to book, and all these other metrics. When are you going to do that? You're going to do that on your lunch break, maybe at your kid's soccer game? How are you going to have the time to dive into enough stocks for you to be well diversified across several sectors and have individual companies that you have intimate knowledge of in all those sectors to consistently outperform the market? Because that's what the usual goal is to outperform the market at large. And then also, do you even know what all these things mean? Do you know what a PE ratio is? Do you know what EPS? Do you know price to book? Do you know a 5,200-day moving average? Things like that. And can you dive into these companies' profit and loss reports, the earnings statements, and be able to read and decipher those in a way that's going to work for you, and do that tens of times, hundreds of times? Can you? Now, me personally, I've tried this. I've played this game. When I was younger, in my 20s, I thought I can watch CNBC. I can look at what a stock's price has been. And now, granted, I started investing right in the middle of the Great Recession. So literally everything was on sale. But I never had a timeline long enough in my head to get the gains from just the drastic market improvements of the next 10 years. I thought that I was going to day trade. I was going to, be in and out of stocks, doing the research on all these. And I just didn't have the time to research enough stocks to make that happen. Because what I think that you need to think about, and I had to wrap my head around this, was think of your professional stock trader, guy on Wall Street. He is putting in 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And if he's making a name for himself, he is probably thinking about stocks in the next trade every waking moment during everything that he does. All the time thinking stocks. He probably dreams about it. And so when he does that, he dedicates his entire life to try to eke out a 1 or maybe 2% margin over a broad index like the S&P or the Dow or whatever. And now how does he do? Over 10 years, according to a CNBC article, 85% of large cap actively managed funds will be lagging the S&P 500. After 15 years, it's 92% of large cap actively managed funds will be lagging the S&P 500 index. And that is funds ran by a guy who dedicates his entire life to researching and picking stocks. Not doing the research on his lunch break or his smoke break or during his kids' games or in his free time in his basement. Every waking moment thinking about it. And that is why I couldn't beat the market picking individual stocks. That's why it's not likely, unless your name is Warren Buffett, that you can beat the market picking individual stocks. So here's what to do instead. Here's the bottom line. For the broker, the money comes in the transaction, in the commission. Doesn't, like they say on the Wolf of Wall Street, doesn't matter if the stock goes up, down, sideways, or just spins around. They make their money on the VIG. And for their efforts, they're going to charge you 1 or 2%. So if they beat the market by 1 or 2%, it's a wash when it comes out in the end. And with 92% of large cap funds lagging the S&P in 15 years, you're likely to end up actually behind an S&P index fund when it's all said and done. So here's what I did, and this is my recommendation to you. And you're going to hear this on this channel so often that you're probably going to get tired of hearing it. Go out and get yourself low-cost index funds that track an index. For example, my favorite, VTSAX through Vanguard. It has a 0.04% expense ratio, and it attempts to track a basket of stocks that encompasses all of the United States listed equities, but for the most part tracks the S&P 500. This will come at a very low cost and will just track the market. And there's no large fees that are going to just eat into your gains over time like you would have with a broker doing an active managed fund. There are several other different index funds. You can do your own research on them through Vanguard, through Fidelity, I'm sure through other financial agencies. But the bottom line is that you're not going to be able to pick your own stocks reliably. It is folly. You can Google it on the internet about the difference between trying to pick your own portfolio versus just investing in index funds, or even picking your own portfolio versus actively managed funds. Even those guys can't time the market. No one can. You know, that's just the way it is. I know that's kind of a hard pill to swallow, but it's just the way that it is. Now, however, if you want to keep some money on the side and do some fun, stock picking, which ends up essentially being gambling to a certain extent, that's cool. Go for it, have fun. But for the bulk of your money, I always recommend index funds that track one of the major indexes. Guys, I'm so glad you tuned in today. I hope you learned something. I hope this was entertaining. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss financial videos that I have in the future. Like this video to help out the channel and this video, and I will see you guys next time.